All right, y'all. Today we're going to check out, see if this boudoir photography business has BSS for its local Google search, West Pasco, Washington, or see if it has it for its city search, Tri-Cities, Washington. So we're back here in the GBC universe, where we take declining boudoir photographers, turn them into the #1 boudoir photographers in their city. Our North Star, as always, is FSIC, full spectrum intent capture. More about that and, whatever, pinned post, pinned video, home video, somewhere around here. And that's because FSIC explains why all boudoir photographers either rise or fall. So if we're falling, we're missing somewhere on this, intent ladder. We're not capturing the amount of people we need to at each intent step or intent level. So we see over on the left, BSS. That's what we talk about here. That's the highest intent people doing, social search, Google search. And then over on the right, the lowest intent people, that's BLCS. That's our other brand, Boudoir Facebook Ad Doctor. That's what we're working with. Boudoir photographers spending more than 10 grand per month on their boudoir Facebook ads. But BSS, that's what we care about today. So care about the highest intent people right now. So BSS is boudoir search sameness. That's when a boudoir photographer has 0 or 1 slots on page 1 of Google. So 0 slots on page 1, and we're invisible. We're basically dead. And that's because that means we're on page 2 or deeper, and we know that approximately 80% of Google searches never go past the first page. That's literally page 1 only. So those 20%ers, we don't care about them. We want to deal with the 80%. 80%ers, the bulk of people. Now, 1 slot on page 1 also is not good for us because we look like everyone else on page 1. If there's not other boudoir photographers and everyone's got 1 link, then the searcher, the buyer, is simply going to click, literally click and opens everyone's website, contact everyone. We don't stand out at all. Probably won't even remember our name. So boudoir search sameness, boudoir photographer has 0 or 1 slots on page 1 of Google. And 0 or 1 slots on page 1 of Google is not normal. Extremely common, but it's not normal is actually the symptom of 2 deeper root causes. First deeper root cause is market saturation, which most know about. The second one is the false belief of page 1 equality, which most people do not know about. Now, the market saturation, that's where it seems like every week someone gets a new iPhone, they throw up their Google My Business profile, and they say they shoot boudoir, they got their website up, they're competing with us to rank on page 1. Basically, more boudoir photographers over time competing for the same number of buyers, so it makes it harder, more difficult for everyone to compete. So that's consistently pushing people out of page 1 onto page 2, and effectively invisible to 80% of searchers that never even go to page 2. Now the new one here, we got the false belief of page 1 equality. This is new because people have kind of auto-accepted it because there's never really a word to describe this. For people to say, oh, I agree with that or disagree with that or I think it's true or false or whatever. But the false belief of page 1 is equality is basically assuming, getting 0 or 1 slot on page 1 of Google is the default. It's the norm. Everyone either has 0 slots or 1 slot, and maybe you had 1 slot on Google page 1, but market saturation puts us off to page 2. So all right, we got 0 slots on page 1, we got 1 slot on page 2, and all right, that's how it is. That's how being a boudoir photographer is. But no, actually, we can actually take as many page 1 slots as we want to put in the work for. And I know that because I went from 0 out of 10 slots on page 1 to 9 out of 10 slots on page 1 of Google in 10 days. So this kind of page 1 equality assumption or like default belief, default assumption is 100% incorrect, which we'll see in a few more pictures down here. We also know that a boudoir photographer with boudoir search sameness, so 0 1 slots on page 1 of Google, is a disappearing boudoir photographer. Yeah, it's kind of like the canary in the coal mine. I mean, if you got 0 slots on page 1, you're definitely disappearing. 1 slot on page 1 probably also disappearing as well because there may be some other people that got 2 slots on page 1, and we're not at 1 slot. We're not saying that at all. We're basically invisible. We're being price shopped against everyone. So it's kind of the canary in the coal mine where once someone becomes a disappearing boudoir photographer and they don't fight against it, then pretty soon, eventually, the entire business disappears as well. So it's kind of the canary in the coal mine of what can happen next future in the business. So BSS, luckily we got the solution. BSS is treated with social search saturation. aka our S cubed methodology. We invented this, been working on it for about 7 months now. We're liking the results so far, so we're bringing it to market. And to utilize S cubed methodology, remember it's social search saturation, so we saturate search on Facebook search, Instagram search, TikTok search, YouTube search with what our people searching for boudoir photo shoots would be typing in. So we show up there, and once we do that, that actually flows over to Google. So saturating social search actually flows over to Google, kind of as a byproduct, giving us multiple links on page one. And again, I went from 0 out of 10 links on page one to 9 out of 10 links on page one for what I wanted to rank for in 10 days. And so the magic about this is the only way someone can use this is if they crash, if they destroy that false belief of page one equality. Because once we use S-cubed methodology, and once you actually see these results I got, we'll realize, oh, that belief was actually false. Page one equality is not the norm. Google actually will give us as many links as we want to put in the effort to acquire, as many page one links. And so the second magical thing about S-cubed methodologies is it's the only thing I've seen that actually fights back against market saturation. So imagine if there's, we're a boudoir photographer in LA, and there's a total of 1 million boudoir photographers in LA. Everyone's got their own website. So everyone's, fiercely competing to be page one on Google. But imagine we take the S-cubed methodology to the extreme, where we rank so hard for the highest intent keywords for people searching for boudoir photo shoots, and we absolutely crush social search saturation, where literally like the first 300 slots of any and every search related to boudoir is us. So it's around all the social platforms that flows over to Google, and let's say the first 300 organic results on Google are only us as well, because we took S-cubed methodology to the max. So the fact that there's 999,999 other boudoir photographers actually doesn't matter to us, because for the first 300 slots, anywhere somebody looks for a boudoir photo shoot in LA, we're the only ones there. They got to go down to slot like 301, and Google is 10 organic slots per page, so they got to go to page like 31 to find another boudoir photographer. So whose business is still doing great? Ours, even though there's literally 999,999 other boudoir photographer competitors. So this is one of the special things about S-cubed methodology. It's the only thing I've seen that actually, builds momentum and helps us compete against market saturation. That can happen relatively quickly. The only other second thing would be brand. People doing branded searching for our brand specifically, but that takes years. So this is something that happens way faster than years to build a brand. And now, once treated with S-cubed methodology, we now have page one visibility. So we're actually seen on page one, even though, we may have had one slot on page one, we're still kind of invisible. But with page one visibility, we got 2. Well, we go for the GBC minimum of 3 out of 10 here for local search and city search. But the added bonus is every new slot we take up on page one, we are kicking a competing boudoir photographer off page one, effectively making them invisible, because approximately 80% of Google searches never go to page 2. They stay on page 1. And as a result, kind of as we take 4 out of 10 slots, 5 out of 10 slots, 6 out of 10 slots, people searching for at least the 80%, the big chunk we're going for, they can only price shop us or compare us against 2, 3, 4 boudoir photographers instead of against 9, because they ain't going to page 2 anyways. And so this is one of the other bonuses. It actually kicks our competitors out of basically being found. Now, page one visibility activates boudoir search visibility for us, because we're no longer at a 0 or 1. We're no longer at 0, 1 slots on page 1, and boudoir search for So we're actually standing out. Well, 0, 1, and we won't get to 3 because there may actually be someone else that has 2. I mean, 1's most common, 2's kind of rare, but if we got 3 out of 10, we're ultra rare. And we're definitely standing out against people that have 1 slot each, and still standing out against people that got 2 slots. It's probably only one other person. And a boudoir photographer with boudoir search visibility is a visible boudoir photographer, a VBP. And this is our university disappearing boudoir photographer with boudoir search sameness caused by market saturation and the false belief of page one equality. Once we accept page one equality is false, now we know, okay, now we can tackle it, we can solve it. The only thing I know that can solve it is S cubed methodology. It actually solves, the only thing I know that can solve both false belief of page one equality and market saturation. We achieve page one visibility, we become a visible boudoir photographer with boudoir search visibility. All right, so these are my results actually doing, so ranking for the keyword BLCS boudoir. So that's what I want to rank for. So we got the AI overview, got the Google Map Pack. Now looking at organic. So I got organic slot 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 10. So I got 9 out of 10 slots on page 1 of Google. And this was after I went from 0 out of 10 to 9 out of 10 in 10 days. And kicked everyone else off page 1. I took it over. And this is showing the power of the S-cubed methodology, where Google wants to give these page 1 slots to the people that want the page 1 slots the most, and to be relevant to the user search. So these slots are always up for grabs for everyone that wants them. So all right, so main event here. I'm going to see if this boudoir photography business has BSS for the local search and the city search, these 2 Google searches. All right, so let's look at West Pasco. So it's the local search. So let's see what we got. Going down to organic. So here we go. We got 1. Boom, we got 2. Let's see. Boom, we got 3. Boom, we got 4. All right, so we got 4 out of 10. Awesome. So we do not have BSS for our local search, and we do meet the GBC minimum of 3 out of 10. Good. So we've kicked off a bunch of competitors from our, from our search here. So that's local. Let's search at the city level. Same, Tri-Cities, Washington. Check this out. Boom. All right, we got 1. That's a sponsored. Nice. We got 2 right there with the threads. Nice. We got 3. All right, boom. This is perfect. This is exactly what we want. So we do not have, so going back. So we do not have BSS for the local search. We do not have BSS for the city search. That's super awesome. We've hit the GBC minimum for both. So I can basically guarantee this business is not disappearing. So they're either treading water or most likely growing, because they're hitting all the metrics we got to be hitting for the highest intent people. Those are closest to the money, easiest to convert. So perfect. This is exactly what we want to see. That's what every boudoir photographer needs to get to. Well, for those that want to become the #1 boudoir photographer in their city. All right, so if you are a disappearing boudoir photographer, we've done your local search, your city search with the highest intent boudoir buyer keywords. You've seen that you got BSS for one or both, or you're not meeting the GBC recommend minimum 3 out of 10 page 1 slots on Google for either one or both of them. And you have broken through and accepted the false belief of page 1 equality. So now you agree and believe with the truth that Google will actually give as many page 1 slots on Google as one wants to put in the effort to acquire. And you're saying that, oh, you've been looking exactly for something like this, and S-cubed methodology is exactly what you were looking for this entire time. And you're liking the, you're liking the initial benefits, basically like more page 1 slots on Google, and even more kicking other competitors off page 1 on Google, making them invisible. And so you like those initial benefits. You're understanding the market saturation. Yeah, more peeps, get new gear over time, more boudoir photographers over time, same number of buyers, harder for every single boudoir photographer. You got that, you got that, you got that. And you're looking ahead, understanding AI, seeing that it's already taken peeps' jobs, and you're realizing, okay, well, last time inside with COVID, forced more boudoir photographers into the market because people don't have jobs, but they still got to earn money, and everyone's got a high-powered smartphone with awesome camera, so pretty easy to fire up a Google Maps or website saying they shoot boudoir now and compete with everyone else. And as a result, you actually realize you need this other hidden benefit, which is you actually need to fortify your position on page one with all these people coming that will be coming when AI is taking more and more people's jobs to force them to become boudoir photographers because they still need money, still need to earn money. And as a result, you're now looking for strategies to fortify your position on page one where no new people that get new gear can rank page one in your area, and no people that lose their job due to AI and want to become boudoir photographers uh, can neither rank page one on Google against you. So you're saying, how do you fortify yourself? You're saying, oh, S-cubed methodology is the only solution you see out there that can help you fortify that. Kind of like you have like backup links in the waiting that Google wants to rank, but since you've already taken so many slots on page one, Google literally cannot rank them. But it also means no other competitor, Google will not rank any other competitor because we would have kind of like links in waiting. So you're liking that, future benefit. You want to achieve page one visibility, become a visible boudoir photographer with boudoir search visibility, because you need these things on your way to becoming the number one boudoir photographer in your city. And you're also like these three other future benefits, um, which are kind of the more we successfully execute S-cube methodology every single day, we're building up like these invisible thematic keyword columns plugged into our brand, kind of like columns, the Parthenon, Athens, Greece, or like the center of a bike tire, the hub and the spokes, kind of build up more spokes outward from us, which actually builds a back-end AI mindshare. And we care about this because every time we increase this with the kind of repetition, authority, frequency, age of these keywords are being associated with through utilizing S-cube methodology, we're actually increasing the probability every single day that we're recommended here. AI overview, the most premium placement, organic placement, cannot pay for this. And increasing that every single day we successfully increase the probability that every single day we successfully execute S-cube methodology. And we are doing this same feature benefit as for the AI search apps, ChatGPT search, Claude, Perplexity, Microsoft Copilot, Google Gemini. Every day we successfully execute S-cube methodology, we increase the probability we get brought up in search there. And last time I searched for boudoir photographer in a city, ChatGPT search recommended me 3. But I actually went to look, kind of like did a manual search, Google and Facebook, found out there's approximately 60 boudoir photographers in this city. So we know we got to get, one of those 3 AI search slots. And you're seeing S-cube methodology is the only thing that helps achieve those invisible thematic keyword columns, which directly increases that probability. Now, since you understand my current plan is to work with one boudoir photographer per city, you decide to be a first mover and get all these initial benefits and future benefits, and more importantly, prevent your competitors from getting them. And when you've decided, that's because you also see, S-cube methodology is able to build you a brand approximately 8x faster than kind of any normal methods out there, because it'll be on just so many surfaces with much higher frequency, kind of enabling you to build, kind of 2 ways to resist market saturation over time, and also put a massive gap between you and all your current competitors and any future competitors. The gap's so large with page one Google search domination and those invisible thematic keyword columns that backend AI search mindshare to be recommended through AI search that competitors really basically will never be able to catch up. And you understand the converse, which is if a competitor goes with me and you get locked out of utilizing this strategy, and you'd actually have to rederive it for yourself. Actually, no, derive it for yourself the first time. You would then have to execute it as much as me and your competitor do. But we would already have a big gap on you. So when you equal our execution every single day, you're simply maintaining that gap. I mean, you're not gaining anything. So you'd actually have to double or triple our output. And when you do that, I mean, like first, you would not be 100% confident you've even derived S-cube methodology correctly in the first place to even feel confident putting in that much time to outcompete against us, to outcompete us. And you need like 80 hours in a day. So like, who's got that time? You're deciding, screw that. I've decided to be a first mover. I'm not missing this opportunity. So if that's you, shoot me a DM. My DMs are currently closed. So shoot me a DM when the hospital opens. The hospital is currently closed for new patient intake. But when the hospital does open, shoot us a DM. We'll see if you qualify for utilizing our S-cubed methodology.